Hello, extraordinaries, and welcome to another exciting episode of the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's episode, which is all around the third dimension, escaping the third dimension and embracing the unknown and limitless of the fifth dimension. That's a big title, but I'm sure we can cover it in the time that we have together. This is a subject I hear a lot of people not talking about. I hear people talking in the peripheries of this. They may touch upon it, but they're not really willing or brave enough, courageous enough to go into the subject of third and fifth dimensionality, unless, they're really enrolled in the consciousness, the spiritual sort of movement. And even there is a lot of distortion and distraction. So in the business world, I have a lot of my clients often ask me when there might be 15 minutes, 20 minutes left in the session. All of a sudden it'll say, I want to know more about the third and fifth dimension. I want to know how money relates to this. I want to know how results relates to these two realms, these two dimensions. I want to know more so that I can empower myself and master the realms of my choosing. So hence, this is this episode, just to whet your appetite. And if you do want to know more information after hearing this episode on the third and fifth dimension, then make sure you comment and let me know, because it's a big area of interest of mine. And of course, it is one that is growing in attention as more and more people wake up on the planet. So without further ado, let's dive right on in. So if you're new to this, let me just start with a little bit of foundation. Even if you've heard it before, it's good as a reminder. There might be some things that I have said before that are great reminders for you. Maybe there's some new information, but remember, nothing is new under the sun. Everything exists simultaneously. So this information is not mine. It's information that I've gathered over the last couple of decades of personal inquiry and really my journey in business, metaphysics, esoterics, spirituality, business growth, whatever you want to call it. All right. So the third dimension, rudimentary speaking, is essentially a dimension of three aspects. If we think about your body, where you're sitting, where you're standing right now, you have forward and back, you have left and right, and you have up and down. Three planes within the dimension, three planes of existence that form to our perception a solid. Okay, so forward and back, left and right, up and down. That's the third dimension. Now, the laws of the third dimension are not exclusive to the third dimension. There are natural laws that govern all of life, all dimensionality, all existence, all sentience, whether you believe in them or not. So the laws, natural laws, are immutable and unquestionable. Whether you believe in them or not, whether you understand them or not, they are always in operation. So in the third dimension, at its extreme, we experience materialism. We believe, as Newtonian physics is as subscribed to, in a very linear model of reality. As I've said in previous podcasts, it's like we have a goal and we believe the only way to get it is to move through spaces to experience time in order to arrive some point in a distant future or a near future to experience that which we desire. So we have to wait. There is effort and exchange in the world of matter. We are moving our physical body, our three-dimensional object, through the world of matter to experience our result. Make sense? So the third dimension, in its imbalanced form, is grossly limited, meaning that you may have met someone. Maybe it's a friend, neighbor, family member, maybe, a stranger at a networking meeting. Maybe it's yourself, where you've said, this is all that exists. I don't understand anything outside of this dimension. You may not have used that language, but I don't understand how anything else could exist. This is reality. This Material universe is all that there is. And, when I die and I go to heaven or I go somewhere else or I are in limbo, whatever indoctrination you believe in, that is holding your subscription, maintaining your subscription to the third dimensional materialistic view that is Darwinian, okay, as well, that the law of nature is actually competitive and that it is the survival of the fittest and evolution is supportive of that. Well, actually, that's very limited in its understanding and very limited in its thinking. And if you go back and you do some extra research, because it's all out there, you'll actually find that information that is placed in front of you is often laced with truth and laced with untruths, so as to distort your understanding and to disable the embodiment of the truth so that you cannot take full, be the full beneficiary of that true wisdom. So, wow, that's going in a little deep. That may go sending some people off the rails with that one. But the third dimension and the materialistic view of the world essentially says, I wake up as a human and I go to sleep as a human. I work during the day and I work to get money, and money pays my bills, which I am told I need to pay bills for. I have a house and a car and a partner and family, or I have study and tuition costs, taxes, all those sorts of things. That whole dynamic is a very limited circuit. It means that I do not observe any potential, nor do I accept that a potential exists outside of me. So I must push against what I call is the real world, the world of matter, without the understanding of where it has originated from. So the third dimension plays its role, so does the second, so does the first, so does the fourth. The fourth dimension is time. So as you are moving through the world of matter, moving from one side of the street to the other, you're moving through the day as the sun moves across the sky, you are experiencing time. So when we think about the third and the fourth dimension, they are stapled together to give us a construct of reality. So that I only have a certain amount of hours in each day, and I only have a certain amount of energy based on my body's ability to generate that energy, and that energy is directed in a certain way towards work or tasks or family commitments or whatever it may be. So it is finite. So time is limited. Spaces are limited. So because we are bound by a clock. Instead, the third dimension often is the world of known. If I can see it, I can believe it. I can subscribe to it if I can see it. I can hear the words and I can feel the impression and influence of those words, and I can see the result in the physical world of those thoughts and those feelings. That's a materialist, okay? So that you literally are pushing against this fabric and the substance of the material world in order to gain or grow or advance or win in the gamification called life. So when we get trapped by being trapped in the third dimension with a very limited view of our own personal cosmos, a very limited understanding of the natural laws, a very limited perception of what is possible for you and for others and for the world, then it's very easy to get trapped in survival, in the instinct, this primal brain, the survival brain, okay, the reptilian brain, the R complex. And so the whole emphasis in survival is to win, is about competition to win. It's one over another. It may happen in groups, okay, this business over that business, this family over that family, this community over that community. It becomes a very contrite and limited view of the world. Survival maintained, like when we maintain that state of survival, we're essentially living in brainwave states of high beta, mid-range beta, and low-range beta, potentially into the upper levels of alpha. And alpha typically is why most people, not most, but a lot of people sit in front of the soapbox at night and watch TV so that they can numb out. They can move into a high state of beta or a mid-range state of beta to relax, which is a very receptive mode. And all the powers that be know that, hence why it's called programming. So when you're living in survival, your neurology, your biology, physiology, your whole circuitry, your whole operating system is wired to survive. It's wired to compete. It's wired to cheat, lie, steal. And not that I'm saying you do that. I'm just saying that there is a chemistry within our body at the vibration of survival, based on the R complex, the reptilian brain, that is built for self-preservation. Okay? So how can I earn enough money to pay the bills? How can I, save enough to go away once every 3 or 4 or 5 years or once a decade, whatever it may be, with my family? It's a very limited view. And because we're subscribed to time, we feel the weight of time and therefore the depreciation or the erosion of time every day. Therefore, unconsciously, we are subscribed to the erosion of opportunity that exists around us, which is why it is so difficult for some people to initially make change in their life, to move the needle and the compass in their business, their cash flow, the caliber of their clients, the quality of their relationships, the depth in their vitality and health, whatever it may be. There is a difficulty in leaving and unsubscribing from the density of the third dimension. The third dimension is very much linked to polarity as well, right and wrong, black and white, hot and cold, all these sorts of things, wet and dry. Polarity teaches us through its counterpoint. It teaches us through the havingness of something or the having not of something. It teaches us. However, third dimensional living and operating can trap us in one side can polarize us and keep us trapped in one side, so that we view that others have more than us. Therefore, in others having more, we are assuming we have less, or we have more and therefore are assuming that others have less. It becomes a very competitive environment, and it is an or statement. The third dimension is or. I can have this or this. I can experience that or that. It's not or in reality. Okay, well, that's what you're experiencing. So the third dimension, I'm just touching upon it right now, is literally you are moving through spaces to experience time, which is the fourth dimension. You are living in a polarized state, others, me and others, them and us, all those sorts of things. There is a limited view on your capacity to earn, a limited view on your capacity to grow, a limited view on your capacity to explore and to tap into your full potential, because you're waiting to see it before you believe it. Yeah. So the fifth dimension is beyond materialism. It doesn't mean that if you're subscribing to the fifth dimension that you can't enjoy the material benefits or the benefits of materiality. That's not what it's saying. The fifth dimension is now. So as you move to the higher realms of time, the space-time now becomes time-space. So no longer are you moving through spaces to experience time, you're moving through time in an infinite space. And that means that there are infinite opportunities. Because when you are investing in the fifth dimension, you are essentially investing in now, the present moment. There is only one moment. There is no past or future as perceived in the third dimension. There is only now. What is assumed or perceived as the past and present in the third dimension is known as memory in the fifth dimension. So we're observing the past through our memories as events that took place. We're observing a potential future through memories that we wish to change to move away from pain, or to move towards pleasure. So the fifth dimension is now. There is no competition in the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension, if it was an emotion, would be love. Love is limitless. Love is eternal. So the fifth dimension is limitless because now you are not looking through the lens or a very reduced lens, seeing less than 0.01% of the light spectrum. You are now in appreciation that there is a force at work that is working with you called the quantum field. And using natural laws in the fifth dimension, you can master the realm of the third dimension because now you are in an understanding and an appreciation that there is something greater than my physical body, that I am not my identity. I am not my body. I am not my name. I am not my place of birth or my residence right now. I'm not my title. I'm not my income. I'm not my possessions. I am so much more. So the fifth dimension breaks you free from materialism. It doesn't judge it. It just breaks you free from the limited perspective that materialism is all that there is. The fifth dimension is an eternal place or observation point called now. And so the sum total of all your thoughts, actions, and feelings coalesce into the now moment, which in the third dimension is seen as outward reality, when in fact the fifth dimension, consciously or unconsciously, accepted or not accepted, is where waves are formed from thought and collapsed into particles as matter in the third dimension. So the fifth dimension is the now. The fifth dimension is a unified state. It is a whole brain, whole body experience. It is a higher transcended state of being, which means I'm no longer living in polarity, or I'm in observation of polarized thinking and feeling, and I'm not in judgment of it. I can see that both are required in order to arrive at equilibrium and balance. That's mastery. So at the fifth dimension, you are creating now, every single moment, creating through your thoughts, your feelings, and the actions that you take. Where you exhibit your behavior is in the physical world. How you move through the world, how you instruct and engage and converse in the physical world, that comes from the fifth dimension. So when you can stretch your awareness, find your edges, and move beyond the perception of limited self, move beyond the limited constructed thinking of the belief that you need to see it in order to believe it, it's actually inverted. And that's why I am constantly saying, turn the upside down world the right side up, because the fifth dimension gives you the clues. Waves are the starting point of conception. They are the conception and of creation. Wave collapses into particle and becomes form. Energy collapses and becomes matter. Yes? Spirit becomes body. All those sorts of things. So the fifth dimension is now. It's a unifying principle. Love where you are right now. And if you don't love it, i.e. if you don't prefer it, change it in the fifth dimension. Change what you want by focusing and giving clarity to what you do prefer and what you do desire, and go about enrolling your body in a new operating system that is limitless beyond the material plane, because as you move from particle back into wave, you become greater in your potential. You become more realized in your ability to tap into the potentiality that exists in the quantum field. So let's see what feedback we get on this episode. I'd really love to go deeper into this area a lot more. Third dimension, fifth dimension. We can go beyond that, but let's just keep it to those right now. All right. So I hope this has been enjoyable. Go back, re-listen to it. I haven't covered everything. This is just a pin drop, a little pebble in your pond to get the ripples moving. because at the fifth dimension, you understand the law of cause and effect instead of experiencing effects and trying to push against them with new causes in the third dimension. Have fun. And from me here to wherever you are in the world, remember, it is all you. It's all you, baby. You construct it. It's you. Dream a better dream. See you in the field. Field.